So let's swap back to 5. It should record that as well. Yep, okay. It's just if I change windows, I gotta switch the window on the OBS. So this is a 4-hour time frame. I'm gonna, I'll delete this off here for now. I can always bring it back. All right. This is what I want to show you guys first. So let me, everybody can see my screen, right? That's paying attention anyway. So this thing, you need to make sure, I'm not sure if you guys, if you haven't, you're going to hear it now. You need to play with the trend, not against it. If you're playing against it, you'll be lucky to get out with profit. So this thing right here, from this point on, is moving upward, right? Everybody can see that? Moving up. So when does it break it? When does it break that upward trend? So you can take just a basic line and just run it through here. Doesn't have to be perfect. And you can tell that the trend, if you go long here, whether you're buying shares or contracts, options contracts, it doesn't matter. But if you're in here and you're going long, you have a very, very safe bet that you're going to come into profit because you're still going with that trend. This day, yeah, it probably would have scared the hell out of you, but it came back, luckily. So until this thing breaks that trend right here, it's a nice long trend for going long. When it breaks this trend right here, now it's moving in a different trend. Okay, so now we're going to switch our outs, like our aspect on it. Now would be a good, like if you're trying to play long right there, in this little section right here, you're going to probably get your ass handed to you. So you need to look back at, like this stuff, you need to look at the daily chart at least. Sometimes you need to go to the weekly if it's got enough weekly chart there. Some stuff is too new, it won't have too much on the weekly, but at least you got to be looking, even if you're day trading, you have to be looking at the daily chart. What is the trend that we're in right now? So if you got in this trend right here, I would hope that you weren't going long, because you can see this clear trend right here is going down. When can we try to go long? Right here. When it breaks that downtrend. Now we're going long. So until this thing wants to break that trend, we're going to go long. So right here, it can have this uptrend right here. We can stay in it long until it wants to break that right there. And this is you see how basic I'm doing this with scribbly lines. Until it breaks this little downtrend right here, or this uptrend. When it breaks it, that's when we stop going long on this thing. If you only go long, that's perfectly fine. I prefer to only go long because most of the market only goes long. So trying to get these really good shorts and stuff, on every stock or whatever you're trading, even Forex, there's not as many really good short opportunities as there is long opportunities. So I prefer most of the time to stay out of it, unless right here we see this triple top right here. We got one top, two tops, and three tops right here. So if it bounces off of this top, which I don't expect Apple to bounce off this top. I expect it to go on and make at least another little small high there, because it already kind of is. So this one, you can see it was kind of a little bit higher on that second one, and now it's a little bit higher on the third one. But if it bounces off that and the RSI is super high on the daily and the 4-hour, I would feel really comfortable getting some puts on it once it breaks the trend that it's on. So right here you can see, right here it's let me get a straight line because this would be much easier to show you. So right here there's a little trend that kind of follows through there. There's a little, like I said, you don't have to be perfect on this stuff. You just want to get an eyeball of the majority of the trend. So the little spot that we're in right now. So once this came down and broke this area right here, you wouldn't have wanted to be long anywhere right there. Nowhere. So once we started to pop back up like this, it broke this trend. If you can see that little trend in there, let me get rid of some of these lines. There's a little trend right here of it coming down. Once it broke that right here, now we can go back long, and that's exactly what we did. based on the chart that I drew up, you guys can see that in the watch list. Kind of self-explanatory when you see it. We were trading this little trend that I just marked out right here. This nice little uptrend that's right in here is what we were trading. And so when it came down, and we see it bounce off multiple times here, when it came down, we looked for that long right here from Vision. It came a day late, but that's okay. It still followed our trend. It did exactly what we thought it was going to do. And a lot of people made money on it. A lot of people made money on that nice little run that it had. So thank you. So now we're going to go to the 5 minute. This is where you should be day trading, at least minimum 5 minute. I had somebody message me today, told me they lost their ass on Bitcoin. They were trading the 1 minute. You can imagine what I told them. Stop trading the 1 minute. Especially on Bitcoin. My lord, on Bitcoin, I wouldn't even trade it on the 5 minute. 5 minutes it's too much, even for Bitcoin. Bitcoin needs something a little higher, like because of the fees that you have with Bitcoin and the spreads and stuff. You literally have to hold that stuff. It seems like, for my experience anyway, it seems like you got to hold this stuff a little longer to cover those fees, then plus get some on top of your position. But that's just me. But anyway, so right now we're on the 5 minutes. So say you're wanting to day trade this thing, you need to look back. Everybody you hear say look to the left. This is exactly what they mean. So we're on a little downtrend here. Okay. I just threw that line in there from what I see. When can we expect or look to go long? Even day trading, you need to be doing this stuff. Okay. Right here is where we want to look to go long, because it starts to break that trend. And especially when you see a candle that big break a trend, that's exactly why that candle is that big. Everybody that knows what they're doing has seen that trend just be broken. If I turn on Vision, I can go ahead and guarantee that there's probably a signal right there. Exactly right there. So that's what we're looking for. A lot of people are taking they're just for example, like on Apple, they're just going in here and they're just smacking by on every one of these signals. While a lot of them are profitable, a lot of you are holding them too long. So if you want to have a better chance on coming out in profit, you need to be finding what kind of trend you're in. So like you see, if we go to the most recent part, right up here, you can see that we're clearly got a little uptrend right here. Sorry, my lines are way not straight, but you can see there's a little trend right here. Let me try to pull that down a little bit. Okay. So until that thing breaks that line, we have a very confident position in going long right there. Whether you, like I said, you're buying shares, whether you're buying contracts on it, doesn't matter. You want to play it with the trend. I'm trying to find somebody echoing. Echo. Found you. All right. So we can find another spot here. I mean, easily. So we can see this spot right here. Grab my little marker. It's moving down. Moving down. Would anybody go long anywhere on that thing? I mean, you can see some good spots, yes, but you're going to be fighting against it. You're going to be fighting to make money on that, unless you buy puts or go short. If you bought puts or short on a downtrend, well, you're going to most likely almost 100% guaranteed money, depending on, like, if you get contracts, depending on your expiration date. Right here. Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely money to be made going long in here. So like right here, right back here. I mean, even here and here. There's money to be made going long in that. but your chances of coming out in the profit are probably very slim. A lot of people, they hold this stuff for too long. Like, I understand, trying to get as much money as possible out of it. It makes sense. But you can't tell the future. I can't tell the future. Vision sure as hell can't tell the future. I wish. When it can, we'll be up in the price on it. But until then, you got to just, when you get that profit, let me see if Cash is in here. Somebody tag Cash, tell her to get her ass in here. Yeah, if it's on a downtrend, yeah, absolutely. Like, okay, so it's the same thing. If we went to look at the 4 hour and we seen we could find this move right here, this overall whole move right here, we could find that exact move in a 4 hour somewhere. So on the 5 minute, it's going to be the same thing, right? If we try to go long right here in this downtrend, like this is not the whole trend of Apple, but we're day trading and we're on the 5 minute. So this is our trend. This is what we need to be playing back and forth every day. Okay, so if we try to go long in here, we're gonna get 8. We're gonna get 8 alive. When you want to go long here is right here as it breaks, and you see this little pullback with these 2 dojis right there. That is retesting this right here. It's retesting that. The Forex is a great way to learn technical analysis because that's all Forex really goes on. Unless some economy news comes out. Forex is great for learning this stuff. So once we see it break it, a lot of people won't get in here until it somehow tests this little downtrend. And if I draw my lines better, you can see it lands right on that thing. So if we tickled just a little scribble line and we put it kind of right in here, it's almost spot on that line. So a lot of people won't get in right there until it at least tests again and then shows that it's going to continue. Me personally, you would have seen that candle pop up, and that was probably, that was on the open. Okay, so you would have seen that candle pop up, seen that it clearly broke that little downtrend, and this is for the intraday time frame, and you would have got in right there. And like Cash is here now, she doesn't wait on anybody to tell her to take her profit. She takes it. And that's why she does so well. Is part of the reason she just takes it. She ain't giving nobody any chances to take it back from her. Like on Apple, I took profit on my target the other day at 135, and it's almost at 140 right now. I could have taken a lot more profit if I would have held out, but I can't tell the future, like I said. So I'm going to take that right now while I got it, while I see it. Because a lot of times I have been like, oh, well, I think this thing's going to go higher. I'm going to hold out a little longer. And then I was up, $300-400, and now I'm down $300-400 because it can turn around on you that quick. It's like, that's how, if I go to the casino, I do excellent. Because as soon as I'm up a little bit, I cash out and go on to the next machine. Get up a little bit there, cash out and go to the next machine. You got to take it as soon as you got it. Don't wait for nobody to tell you to sell. If that's just kind of goes, like when you're greedy, when you're going to be greedy, that's when you say, I'm going to see if it'll go up a little more. When you hear yourself or you hear your thoughts say, I'm going to see if it'll go up a little more, that is when you should exit. Every time when you say that to yourself, it's about to turn around on you. That's all it is. It's literally all it is. I think people just, no offense to anybody, but I think it might be just a little laziness where you don't want to pop some lines on there. I'm trying to help everybody make some money here. So, like this trend right here, we can be confident going long in this because it broke right here. This is a very steep down little trend right there. From this point is what I'm looking at. Now if we go back, we can see the whole downtrend on it. But I'm looking at that right there. So when it breaks this out right here, you can clearly see that it broke it. So if you got long right here, yeah, it was a little slow, and it even went into the next day, and you would, I mean, that's a good long right there. I mean, that's 128 to 130, 131, almost 132. That's a lot of good money in there. So, what's up? So if I'm day trading, I'm looking at it real time. You just come in here, kind of like you don't even have to go back that far. You know, you just want to kind of pull out a little bit, look at the chart, and see what kind of trend it's in right now. And we'll go to some other stuff that I haven't even looked at, and we'll just kind of we'll find some spots, and we'll see exactly where it's at. Now this isn't charting the horizontal resistance and the horizontal support lines. This is just kind of seeing what type of trend we're in, so we can play with the trend, not against it. So like, I don't. Well, I'm not. I mean, I can't be 100% on that because on Apple, sure, a lot of big money's in this, but on something else, who knows? So if we went and go play, GNS or something, like, who knows if there's big money in that or not? I'm sure there's a lot of people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but who knows? But Apple, you can guarantee there's big money in this thing. That's why I think they pushed it with that bad Telegram news. Like, that news shouldn't even move Apple. Like, who cares about Telegram? Who'd you say it was? PLTR. Turn. So I'm on a 4 hour right here. That made a bull flag if you looked at the 4 hour for anybody. Right here, you can see this, whoop, and then it, whoop. That line's way off. Let me start on this side. This right here is a bull flag, right? What did it do when it came to the end? Had a bunch of momentum built up behind it like a coiled spring right there, and shot out. Now, not every time it's going to shoot out the top, so wait for that confirmation of that. But yeah, like you said, it's kind of trading sideways right there. But if you look right here, it broke this right here. So right there, until it breaks that back this way, you're long at one point here, and then it breaks that. Then you're short on it, and then it breaks that right here, and now you're long on it again. Breaks that, short on it again. That's all. You're just trying to find the trend. And then, like, if we go to the 5, I'll go to the 5 real quick, and we'll see where it's at. Yeah, I mean, that's what you need to be doing to see what you should do. So you go to Apple or like TAK that we were just talking about because the ARC trading was in them a lot. You need to go there, see what the trend is. Like for me, I looked at TAC, and I was like, why the hell would ARC be buying this? I looked at it and looked at it and looked at it on Finviz. I looked at it on Finviz is what I looked at it on. I'm like, there, I don't see anything. So I came over here to TradingView on the 4 hour, and I see the inverse head and shoulders, and then I'm like, oh, there's a clear support line running through the middle of this thing that it's coming off and consistently bouncing off of right here. So I'm like, okay, I can see, now I know why they're buying it. Now I'm confident that, okay, well, it might come through, break this little downtrend that it's in right here, and with how many shares they bought, you can kind of be very, very confident, almost like 100% confident that it's going to break it. So if like we take the regression tool, you take the regression tool right here, and you can see currently it's in a downward trend. Just right here on the end. We're not talking about right here because it broke that. So now we're in a downward trend, but it hasn't broke out of it yet. We're wanting for that. Let's see, today's Saturday, so we're wanting that Monday to go up even higher and break out of this downward move. And for those of you that haven't seen, that tool right there is a regression tool. It's up here in where your trend line would be. Pop that little window out, go all the way to the bottom on that regression tool, and you can just kind of grab something, and it's pretty good at getting the trend spot on where it should be, but sometimes it's a little little off, so you kind of have to eyeball it and see, you know, kind of like I did with Apple. It wasn't spot on, but it was there. So we can be confident right here going long, right? Because this trend is here. And so let me grab a little marker. We're moving down, we're moving down, we're moving down. Now that it breaks up, and you can see where it even came back down and tested that. So it popped up out of there, came right back to it, tested it right there where you see those two red candles, and then picked back up off of it. Now you can be confident that thing is going to switch trends, at least 95% confident that it's going to. Because let me get all this stuff off here, and you can see exactly where that thing broke it. And then came back down and tested it. So you see where it came up and then came back down and tested it. There's a little two red candles right there, and then it boop, nice big green engulfing candle right there. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking to see. You don't want to fight against it. I mean, it's kind of like swimming upriver. You want to go with the current, not against it. Because you. Yep. Yeah, and being that Arc's in it, I would imagine Arc's gonna probably shoot it through that. Because I mean, they're not gonna buy stuff they can't make money on. So, and then you see this inverse head and shoulders here, and then, you know, this thing is finding this support right here over and over again. And like you said, there's a clear resistance right up here. So once I seen that, I had to get off of FinViz and come over here to the 4 hour, because FinViz is daily chart, so it looks a little different. But once you kind of get that picture and see that, then I was like, oh, okay, well, I see why they're buying it up right there, because they bought it up right here, right on the support of that thing, right on when this inverse head and shoulders right here should be making its little other leg upward. But like I said, here's the thing: you don't want to. You see this clear resistance up here. Does anybody know if that thing's going to break it or not? Yeah, this up. But do you know that it's going to break it? Are you going to, if you're in this thing, if you got $5,000 in this thing right here, are you going to hold that to just to see if it's going to break through it? Why are you going to see some type of resistance right here though? And resistance as in people, it kind of stopping and slowing down right here, because everybody's taking profit right there. Because the smart people aren't holding through that, because they don't know if it's going to break or not, because nobody can tell the future. Now they might get back in once it breaks it and it's clear now it's going to keep going, but you're going to see what we call as resistance right there, because everybody sees that resistance right there where it stopped and everybody took profit before, and so now it becomes like a little, almost like a little mind game of, oh, I better take profit right. All the smart people taking profit right there, because we don't know it's going to break nothing. That's again goes back to stop trying to be greedy and just take the money while you got it, because if you try to hold out and get more, it's it's going to go away real quick. Absolutely. And I understand it, you know, try to get as much money as you can, but that's not how you're going to get as much money as you can. You're going to get as much money as possible taking it, going on to the next one, and hitting it again. I don't know if Cash is still in here or not, but yeah, there she is. So Cash, how much did you start out with when we launched Vision? You had like 250, 300? So if anybody hasn't heard the story of Cash Money, her name used to be Cassandra. She has done nothing but take profits, and because that's all she does is take profits. She gets up a little. I mean, she don't care. Like when she started out, she was at $250, $300. She was posting consistent profits every single day, $7 here, $10 there, and it all started to add up real quick. And then she started posting bigger profits a couple weeks later, and bigger profits. She built the $300 account up to like $5,000 or more, and then took some off of it and did it again. That's how you need to do it. You need to just take it while you got it. If you see that thing start to get shaky, or it's at a resistance zone or coming up to it, take it. I use the 5, but if you're getting into options on the open, you need to sell that thing in less than a minute or two, because it's on the open. Now Cash, it seems like she loves to play the open. Like that's when she just gets in there and murders them. Yeah, she's good at it, man. I myself, I feel like I'm just like everybody else. I'm a human being, so I'm gonna be like, well, these three engulfing 5-minute candles are very big. It looks like it's gonna keep going. But she gets in there. I don't, Cash. Do you ever buy any puts or anything? Right. But oh, there you go. So like something with Wells Fargo, it's been moving up quite a bit. So if you try to play puts right there, it's most likely on an upward trend. So that's why I said you're going to be swimming against the current. Now, if you get on it when it's on a few day down run and you swim with that current, puts are going to be easy to make money on it. You need to go swim with the current. You need to kind of scope out a little bit and see what the current's doing, see which way all the other fish are swimming, and follow with them. Or else you're just over there by yourself getting ready to get eaten by a shark. Oh, love them. Love them. Let me see. Yeah, that's what I posted in the watch list. I think it was Thursday night. Oh shit. Yep. Yeah, you can see. I scribbled all over the screen there for you guys on. Let's see what day it was. It was 1/21, so January 21st. So that was Friday, right? No, that was Thursday. Thursday night, I put it in there in the watch list, and I said, "Bull flag on plug. Watch it tomorrow." It was at 63. Now it's at 66.87. Looks like it touched like 67.50 there too. Yeah. So if you guys want to get better at learning technical analysis, I mean, I'd start a demo account minimum on Forex. Like Forex is like it's so good at it. It's so good at I think teaching you how like to get better at technical analysis and seeing. I mean, it's not hard. Don't get scared away from it. I mean, it's it's really once you start scribbling on there, uh, it's pretty simple to see which way the trend's going. Like plug. It's not so much different, but uh, the stock market is they're shaky, man. They're shaky. They act like a bunch of little scared schoolgirls. Um, yeah, like it's like it's the biggest market. Forex is the biggest market in the world. But the thing is with the stock market is if like one of these websites out here. So say, damn, what's that website that I hate? Um, they got in trouble for doing a short campaign on IDEX. Uh, it's not Motley Crue, but it's another one. No, it wasn't since Cash. Do you remember who that was that did that? They put a Twitter deal out and then a deal on their website. They short campaign SRNE too when it was up there at $20. I can't remember the name of them clowns. No, uh, but that's what people can do to the stock market is like one little tweet from somebody that thinks there's some type of stock news website can put something out and then scare all the fish off. Like I think they did on Apple when they put that Telegram news out on because this Apple should have been putting me and everybody else in the money on Tuesday, guaranteed. Like no doubt about it, this thing should have been in the money on Tuesday, up there at the 135, up there at the 140 like it is now on Tuesday, not Thursday and Friday. But people can put out a bad little news deal. Like Apple had this little bad news deal that pushed it down a little more to 127 there. Some stupid thing about how Telegram Apple should be in trouble because they didn't block Telegram from their app store. Telegram is just like, everything else, like WhatsApp and everything else. Like, nobody cares about Telegram, and so that's why I'm like, Apple. That was just a little short campaign for people to get in there, get a really good 135 position on those calls, and make a bunch of money on them because it was a lot lower. Because they knew it was going to do the same thing too. I mean, you can see the trend, you can see what's been happening, with or without vision. Exactly, like Telegram's not even that important. Like, it should have never moved. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about the stock market versus forex market. Unless the forex market only comes out of trading only technicals if some type of bad economy news comes out. If they say, oh, the United States dollar is fucking dumping down because all these stupid stimulus checks, well, then you'll see anything that versus the US dollar start to rise against the US dollar. So like AUD USD would then rocket compared to the US dollar, so it would make US or AUD's value go up, and so we would go long with it and make money going long because the value of it's going up compared to the US dollar. If Yeah, I mean, like I said, unless some type of economy news comes out like that, forex can only go on technicals because that's all there is. Now, you got the same little news sites here and there that are posting BS about some currencies and stuff, but people that are trading it don't care. They're trading the chart because that's what matters. Well, I think it's just more the fact that economy news, like that bad economy news or good economy news, doesn't come out as much as just somebody putting out a news article on how the new iPhone will bend if you put it in your skinny jeans. Like that news article. If we can go back and find the day when they did that, when Apple's iPhones were bending because people were putting them in their too tight of jeans, I guarantee the stock probably went down that day. But like stuff was like that on forex, it's not going to move it because nobody cares. Like, they're trading technicals only because that's the only thing it really has to go off of. Like I said, unless bad or good economy news comes out, but it's really gonna have to be good or bad, like really good or bad economy news. But like forex, like I said, and it's easy. Honestly, it's easy to make money on it. I'm not trying to make you guys do something or nothing, but it's easy to make money on it, especially with vision. Like, I have that forex video out, and that's all I do. And you guys remember that was been here for a couple weeks. I started that forex account with $300, and it's almost to $900 right now. And last week I only traded one time, and I started that account 3 weeks ago now. No, go ahead, buddy. Got to do it. Yep. I think that's a good thing to get into, man. Yeah. Yep. It's a very good. Absolutely. Tell him, Farouk. Tell him about it. I think that is the best way to trade is find a couple things you like to trade and trade them every day. Not every one of them's going to be able to be traded every day, but if you got a list of stuff that you trade every single day, you're going to become really good at trading those every single day. And I think a lot of people get hurt going and chasing these top gainers every day. Like, oh, it's a new gainer. I haven't heard of this one, but it's up 50% already. Let's go trade it. That's chasing.
I can highlight it, but it's not copying it.
I'll tell you how to trade those top gainers. Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead. I was just going to say basically what he did, but
Well, it's not working.
if you guys are going to trade the top gainers, I will just give you a little piece of information if you've missed me saying it every other time. In the morning, the pre-market, like Farouk said, it looks great. Don't trade the pre-market on those top gainers. You're most likely going to get ate alive. What you want to do is wait 5 to 15 minutes after the market opens. You'll either see nothing but straight 5 red minute candles, like not the number 5, I'm saying the 5-minute candles. You'll see just nothing but comes out of the gate all red. Don't trade it. if it if it comes out of the gate all green, maybe wait 5-10 more minutes and make sure. But that stock is most likely going to continue to go up for the rest of the day. If it dies right off the open, you know which ones to stop watching. The market, yeah, sure. And the open will show you which way they're probably going to go. So let me.
Hey, hey, babe.
So let me go to another chart real quick so I can show you guys how to day trade the trend. Actually, I'll just do it here on plug too, and then somebody can throw me something out. Okay, so on the 20th right here, nice little another steep little trend. We know what this thing's doing on the 4 hour. I mean, it's basically trending up, other than the little flag spot that it's in, which is just kind of going sideways. But this nice steep drop right here, that was on the open of this day, which was the 20th. So until it started to break out of that right there, you didn't want to go long on it. You could have made some money right here. You could have made some money right here if you would have held it through all this. But close to the end of the day, you would have made some money right there. Same thing right here, and then same thing right here. Mm-hmm. Like, mm-hmm. Yep.
When what that's what I was asking. Like you can get in on that long, but you gotta know when to get out because it's gonna retest that resistance that people are gonna sell on. It's a selling point for people.
So let me show you. If you haven't seen any of the other videos I made, let me show you a quick way how you can make money going sideways. I mean, you can go boop, put that line right there. Let me thicken it up for everybody so you can see it. So if you chart in your horizontal lines, we know there's a resistance right there. There's a resistances right there 3 times, 2 times, there's 5 times. So now we can play this sideways trend because we know exactly where it's going to play off of. We can go long right here, we can go long right here, we can go long right here. And we would have made money on every single one of them. You wouldn't on this right here. On this right here, you can see exactly what happened. It came up, started to break through it. They wanted to retest it to see if it was strong enough. That's why you see those few little doji candles right there. It was solid, so that's why you see that big engulfing green candle right there. So, since I mean this is a subscriber-only chat, so everybody should have vision in here. Let me get rid of some of these little pink lines. And then I'll flip on vision, and we'll see probably exactly where we should have went long and exactly off of the support line. And where did the shorts hit? Right on this the same line, but for that it was the resistance. So like right here, you can take another horizontal line if you want to, since we can clearly see that there's some type of resistance right there. And exactly what happened over here, it came up above it, tested it one time, it was strong enough, so they pushed it some more. If you're not charting these lines, good luck to you. I wish you the best. This is how you do it, and it's like there's a lot of people that like to, no offense to anybody, but like to blame vision. 100%, you losing money is not vision's fault. I'll just go ahead and say it now.
And I keep saying, even if you're blinded for vision and you're not profitable, then you do something wrong. Because I've sat down on the sidelines, right? And watch players move on during the day. And what I've seen vision do is that even if you're like following every play like strictly by vision, your gains gotta be higher than your vision.
Oh yeah, yeah. Vision.
You exactly get out on the point it tells you to get out. So
Yeah.
even if you're not charging stuff and you're following the blindly and you're not profitable, I'm gonna tell you you definitely do wrong.
Yeah, vision has nothing to do with support and resistance lines. They're not built into the code of it. Nothing. But it follows the chart. So you can see right here, people are getting out. I mean, I've got the risk all the way up to the gambler right now. People are getting out right there, and then you can lower it down. You can do what you want to do. These are all smacking that resistance. So, and then vision confirms it. Vision confirms this stuff for you. So this is how you use vision. You got to put these lines on there. Like I said, you don't have to be perfect. You just got to know the area of where this stuff should either be bouncing off of the support or bouncing off of a resistance. And then you just use vision to confirm it. So if you want to go long right here in this little sideways trend or something, you got your line in there. You're looking for this chart to come down, touch that, and get bounced back up off of that. Wait for the long signal, and you're golden. Vision confirms it.
Is that a 5 minute?
Yeah, this is 5. Yep. And so like in these spots over here, this is vision just trying to keep you safe. Like Farouk said, if you followed vision signal for signal, at the end of the month or the year or whatever, you're going to be way more head in profit than you are in losses. So this is vision trying to keep you safe. Which the new update rides a lot more of the stuff out. It throws in some suggested take profit zones. But you can turn up the risk as well, and it gets rid of a lot of just little pullbacks where vision's trying to keep you safe, where it'll ride it a little more, and we can see if it's going to be just a little pullback or if it's just going to be a reversal. So being that this came off of this support right here and kind of got pushed up pretty good right there, that's how you can basically tell yourself this is most likely going to be just a little pullback, because you're looking for this thing to come up and test this line right here that we already had drawn, because it did it 3 other times right here.
Actually, can you get to it's on the same chart? Can you get to like the January 21st?
21st?
Yeah, that right there. Where
Right here?
that's where
Yeah.
where the circle is.
This left circle?
Oh, during the pre-market, that was his support mark when you draw the line at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So for something like this, when it opened, and it broke through that resistance, you could have gotten in that thing, right? Since it broke a major resistance.
Yeah, I mean, it gave you, like you said, you got a line down here as a support that you clearly see being at least pretty strong so far. And if we looked more left, I'm sure we might see it again somewhere. But for right now, for right here, you can see it being supported right here. I mean, then you got Vision confirming it with these long signals off of it. Where are we going to ride it and sell it to is our next line, because we don't know if it's going to get pushed through or not. So we're going to sell it at the line. Personally, me, I sell it a little bit before the line because there's plenty of people to sell it to. If you try to sell it at the top and at the peak, you're probably going to get not the peak, because a lot of people think they can just buy the bottom and sell it at the peak. That's never going to happen, ever. Stop trying to. It's never going to happen. You got to take a little piece of the pie while the pie is still there, or you're never going to get any pie. Yeah, and then a great thing, like Farouk pointed out, on this spot right here with this support, you can see it kind of come down and close and find support there. And so on the open, if it shows that it was supported, and then you get this momentum long signal, that's a very, okay, I'm safe right there. I feel very confident this position is most likely going to go in my favor, because it hit the support the day before, it opened up, you got the momentum long. I mean, that move, and for some reason, I don't know why, but plug contracts pay out so much money. Oh, they pay good, dude. I'm pretty sure Bruce has traded them too. I know CJ has. I mean, they pay very well for whatever reason. Sure. Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay. I believe it. I personally, I'm not getting in that long because the RSI is too high. But again, Plug likes to kind of move like Tesla here lately, and don't care what the RSI says. It just wants to keep going up. So now that kind of can play maybe back to the chart that I drew on in the watch list, where it was kind of that bull flag there and it was breaking out of it. So that might have enough momentum behind it to try to come back up here, but it's going to come to a resistance or a support somewhere. So it's next up is, where's the next resistance? So if it finds some resistance up here, then it's that, let's say it's 67.50, then it's going to come up to 67.50, get bounced back down to some support, and then continue to try to go up, which that in itself, that bounce off the resistance back to support, is going to reset that RSI. So every time these touch the support line, if it starts to show reversal, that RSI should most likely be low. So if I can go flip back on my RSI scale real quick. I got two of them now. So you see that it came off this short signal where there was the resistance was right here. You can see the RSI was high, exactly like it should be. So if you come over here and see where the support is, the RSI was pretty low. So the RSI right there was down at under 45, which is that's low. And you can see right here, it closed super low. It closed at 22 on that support, and you can see that it got supported on it as well, because the buyers were pushing that body of that candle up. So that's no vision has nothing to do with the candles themselves. I mean, who knows really, because we put so much stuff into vision. I can't really tell you. Maybe because I'm sure that if we watched that live, there was probably a long signal there, but it probably went away. because you can see that that candle got pushed all the way up here, but then it overall ended up getting pushed down more than it was pushed up. So maybe there was a long signal there, but
That red candle is dangerous.
yeah, it's very.
I wouldn't expect vision to put me down because of how deep that red candle.
Yeah, that right there, I would say was just a big sell off before the close. But uh, yeah, I can't exactly say that why there isn't a long signal right there, but I would imagine that there probably was at least one there flashing um, while that candle was still live. But overall, it ended and closed with the body of that candle being the sellers being strong there. So that's why I would kind of guess there isn't one there.
Let me ask this question: when you're buying calls, you go one strike price above your current price, right?
It's kind of personal preference. I've been liking buying in the money here lately. Kind of switched it up on you. Yeah, I kind of like buying in the money. Depending on who I'm trading is depending on how far I go in the money. Like Tesla, I'm probably not going that far in the money because they're $3,000 or $4,000 at most times. But if the contracts are pretty cheap, I'll try to go as far as the money as possible because I mean the demand for that's going to be pretty high. Yeah, yeah, you got little time. I mean, you can make a bunch of money on out of the money, sure. But I mean, you gotta if you're not, especially if you're not doing any charting or anything, you're not, uh, you know.
So, so let's okay. Well, it's $66.80 right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to buy a strike price for a call for strike, how far would you go?
We're buying a call.
Yeah, for call.
I would assume that there's probably a call for 66.50 or 66, right?
Yeah, 66.
Yeah, so I'd buy the 66 if I wanted to buy a call right there.
Prismas, prismas are expensive. They're expensive.
Hey, you gotta pay to play, baby.
Well,
No, I mean if you're gonna buy let's not say we're buying that long because the RSI is too high. So say we're gonna buy this long right here. I'm gonna feel super confident that that thing's gonna make me money because of the way the chart looks. You got nothing. You got some nice bearish candles right here coming straight down to our support, and then we're just gonna watch to make sure that it's gonna be supported. Now, of course, anything can happen, but most likely it's gonna get supported right here. We see the RSI is pretty low down here, so there's another little checklist to check off. We got a little lower RSI, and then we get kind of a little doji candle right here on that last red candle, and then we get a kind of, I mean, that's kind of a weak green candle, but then where the long signal comes in is completely engulfing and a very bullish candle because it has no wick hanging out the bottom. So that's what I like to see is no wick hanging out the bottom. If I'm going to go long, I want to see a very bullish candle. No wick hanging out the bottom of a green candle is very bullish. So myself personally, I probably would have YOLO'd it and got in right there on that red candle because I like the yellow stuff.
if you're trying to reverse on, I would get
Right, yeah, and a little doji candle like that, especially on the support. Like that's kind of
that's one of the advantages of charting
absolutely.
because you know it's gonna be reversing.
You
As
can
long
tell
as
the
you get
future.
confirmation that you're gonna jump it.
Yeah, you can tell the future, or at least predict it. You can have a very good prediction that exactly what this thing's going to do. You can get in here, say, "Hey, I'm going to predict this thing's going to go up to that resistance line that I drew yesterday." And guess what it did? Exactly that. Now, like I said, anything can happen. This thing can go up three nice bullish candles and turn around and die back down to 40. Who knows? Depending on news that comes out and shakes people's knees. But for the most part, you're pretty safe on following predictions on charts like this. Like you gotta have these lines. That's why I'm trying to do this so many times. I'm telling people like if you're not drawing these lines, you're just going out here throwing money at it and hoping that hoping that it pays out. What'd you say?
So, can I ask a question about one of the settings on this current version?
Sure.
So, you go to the settings and then inputs and style.
Yeah. Hang on, let me get to it real quick.
Under style, what's precision at the bottom?
Honestly, I think that's just like a trading view thing. because that's nothing from us. So I haven't ever messed with that because that's not from us. By the way, while I got everybody on here, if you want to turn off the background color, the black and the orange and whatnot, you can just click that background color checkbox and it turns it right off. I personally am not a fan of it, so I click it up. Yeah, I mean it's black because so the candles stand out at you more, and that's again why I got my wicks. I changed the wick color to white because I just like the way it looks, and then I outlined the body of the candles in black, and I changed the green and the red color of them too because it stands out way better for me. Let me see. I think we can either right click the candle and go. Let's see, settings at the bottom right there, and then it says symbol. That's it. It should pop up right there. You got body right here, borders and wick. I changed the body to that green, changed the other body to that red, borders to black, wick to white. The white, the white of the wick, it's so easy to read as it's going through, like the whatever factory settings they have on the trading view. It's not pretty. It's hard to see. So I like the white. Little Smurf colors. Hold on, Fruit. All right, Fruit, go ahead. Sorry, Bill. It's kind of like the same thing as calls. I go in the money. So if it's $55 current price, I'm gonna go 56. Does that make sense? I mean, it's kind of hard to understand at first, but you want yeah, yeah, you just flip it because you're stuck. The way I look at it is you think it's gonna go down to 54. Current price is 55, but I want to start at 56 because it's already at 55. You know what I mean? It's hard. Like sometimes I look at the Weeble chain, the option chain. I'm like, fuck, what do I want to do here? Because it's hard. Like puts are just kind of they throw me off a little bit. So, but basically you're starting already $1 in the money because the current price is at 55. You think it's going to go to 54, so we're going to buy 56. Yeah, so we started a dollar ahead basically. Yeah, it's hell yeah. I mean, it's nice. You just got to get used to it. It is definitely nice. I mean, Robinhood's a lot easier, sure, but just make sure you're on buy call or buy put. I wouldn't try selling them. Absolutely, just buy one contract, one at a time. No, I didn't, but I know GameStop was pushed pretty hard on Twitter. Damn, it'd be a good day. Farouk, everybody, Farouk. So let's see. Somebody give me a ticker, and if somebody says Genus, I'm kicking you out. SPCE. So let me get this off so you can see what we're doing here. So right now, that's the horizontal line. That's not what I want. Yeah, let me get the marker. So right here, long, confident, easy money. You just got to see it. So like right here, it's like little Price is Right. And right here, it broke it. So we're no longer long after that until it wants to get out of that trend. And this trend was very short-lived right here. Broke it right here, so now we're long. You just gotta see, but that's not the only thing we want to go off of either. So like I said, you want to go back to at least the 4 hour of the daily and see what kind of trend it is in right now on the daily or the 4 hour as well. So right now you can see overall it's in a nice uptrend. So you take that information, you go to the 5 minute to day trade it. You wait until you can see a clear uptrend in the 5 minute, and or a nice downtrend in the 5 minute, and then you wait for it to break out of that, and that's where you would get in. You don't honestly, I mean, you don't have to do this every time. I mean, you could go simply to the daily or the 4 hour, see what kind of trend it's in, and then that says, okay, well, I'm going to look for calls, and then you can go to the 5 minute for day trading and just day trade based off of your horizontal resistances and your supports. You don't always have to just go in there and draw the trend, in the 5 minute. It just can help you a lot. And also, I've seen a lot of scribbles on a lot of charts. you got lines going everywhere like this, and you just like all over here like that. That's only for people to sit here and be like, well, I think it's going to do this, but there's a million different other options. So when it does one of those options, you're like, hey, I was right. Don't scribble all over. I mean, you're going to confuse yourself. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like now we're going to say next year, COVID's going to come back. Well, eventually it probably will. So, let's see. What else can I show you guys? How long has space been alive? Because honestly, I don't look at space ever. Not very long here. Let's see. 2018. Yeah, we might be able to get enough data off of that on the daily. Came back alive there, didn't it? All right, let's go to something else because that one doesn't. I mean, fuck it, we can do space. So I meant to. I don't think I have this recorded. So this weekend I plan on recording this stuff into a video. What I'm going to show you right now, so everybody that's here right now, you kind of get a heads up on it. But I know I showed Billy some of this stuff last week and some other people that were in there. A lot of people have problems trying to chart some of the horizontal and resistance and support lines on the chart with candlesticks. So a very easy thing you can do is come up here, change that to a line chart, and now it's a lot easier to see where you should be putting like your lines. So yes, there's a bunch of parts down here where we could put some lines. Right now I'm not going to do that because we're up here. So we want to try to get the most spots that are up there possible. There's not a whole lot up there for us to get, but we're going to get some of them at least. So there's a low right there. We're going to put a line there. Let me definitely shrink that back down because when we go, and then there's one definitely right there. I'm going to wait on putting this one because I'm still going to go down to the 4 hour chart because the 4 hour chart will show us a little bit more movement. We're definitely going to put one where it's at right now because we can see there's a little peak right there. Wrong way. We can see there's a little peak right there. It bounces back up and comes down and hits that. The reason I'm putting that there is because there's a little peak right here and current price is also right there. So now I'm going to go to the 4 hour chart. I'm going to start breaking it down a little bit. And we can see there is a little bottom right here and there's also a peak right here. So if we kind of split the difference on that, put a line there, let's see if it grabs anything over here, which is, it does right there. So we know that's a good one. So that's all I'm going to put, because if we're day trading this, we don't want to get too many on the daily and the 4 hour. So now I'm going to go back to the 5. And now you can see exactly what's going on. You know what, I don't even know if vision will work on the line chart, but it'd be pretty cool if it did. Man, not really. So you can see all these spots down here bouncing off that. We can see all these resistances bouncing off this. Same thing, same thing, same thing, same thing, over and over and over. It's because it's all this stuff does. It's all, I mean, until news comes out or something, that's all it really can do. It's kind of just like Forex, but it's a little more shaky at the knees. So we're up here right now. I mean, I won't put any lines right here yet because it's a decent bit away, but I will put one right there. Let's see. And we're on the 5, right? Yeah, we're on the 5. Okay. And then I'll put one right here because we can see a couple little spots right there where it's hitting. And then I'll put one right here at the bottom of that, and that should get us going. That should be a really good start. So now I'm going to switch it back to the candles, and then you can kind of get in here. You can see, you can come in here and see. Okay, well, we're moving upwards right now. So until it starts to come down and break, like it's gonna. Let me see if I can get a better line for you guys right there. I'm just gonna throw this in here and then thicken it up for you. So we can feel comfortable going long based on off of our support lines until this thing starts to break this trend. When it breaks it, we're no longer going to look for a long position. Now, like I said, you can come in here and play off of this thing, bouncing off these support and resistance lines if you're day trading, and it's perfectly fine. If you got your lines in there and they're most likely in the right spots, then you're going to do fine. But just knowing which way the trend is going is going to help you a lot more. You're going to be not looking to buy puts right here. Don't take any shorts, in my opinion, right here. Unless, I mean, if it's max resistance, sure, you can get in there, but you know, that's one of them ones where you're in and out within a couple minutes. So, I didn't want to cut that off. I just wanted to get rid of that pink line. Alright, so you come in here, you can see right here we got a long signal right off that support. Circle it so everybody can see where it's at, hopefully. So that's a good little spot to buy. We don't know it's going to break through this, so we're going to be out there. And it almost went $1. So, I mean, it's a pretty good profit depending on how many contracts you bought. Right up here, smacked this thing 3 times. So, honestly, and the RSI was high right there. So, I would have been very comfortable buying a little small, quick in and out put right there. Got a long signal right off of that support. This one, yeah, I mean, if everybody has the trend in there charted, then yeah, I mean, because you can see this thing, it just starts riding it. So you can kind of bet that like a lot of other people also have the same trend line drawn in on their chart. And then this short up here, I'd be probably pretty confident that it's probably going to try to poke up out of here and then get smacked back down like it did before, because it's not looking very strong. Because it tried to push up through here that time, and then got resisted pretty hard. So this one went long as it broke through that resistance, came down, settled on it, and then that's not even the open, and it went way long right there. I figured with how big those candles are, that would have been the opening bell, but sure wasn't. That was the end of day at 2 o'clock. So it supported it right here. I mean, that would have made some people some good money for whoever likes to trade space. But what's up? So I mean, you can, as long as you got where you understand where the support and resistance lines are, you're gonna know where you should be doing. Like I said, I personally I don't really like to get too many puts or go short even on forex. Like trying to pick and choose the good short moves is it's kind of hard. I mean, because you just like yeah, we can go in here and we can say okay, RSI is high, it bounced this resistance right here and got shot back down. Um, but anything can happen. I mean, like because most of the market goes long, because if they're gonna buy shares to short, uh, it's just I mean you got to borrow them from the broker, you got to reserve them from the broker. So there's most of the market's going long. So I mean, if one person made one Twitter post that's got a few thousand followers, and they could easily shove that thing up some more. So that I personally don't like going short too many times unless I see a clear reason to. Like if it broke this trend right here, yeah, I'd probably go short on it, buy some puts a few days out because it'll probably trend a little bit downward for a day or two at least. And then once I get that profit, I just take it. I don't wait for nobody to tell me when to sell it. I take it. Take it. Like see right here, you got this little trend right in here. Came up long off that support, got resisted right here on our resistance that we drawn in here before we even started trading it, let's say. And it broke right here, so I'd feel really comfortable getting a little quick put on that because it broke that little trend, that little upward trend that it had there on the 5-minute. But like I said, the daily is trending upward, so we don't want to overstay our welcome, if that makes sense. So like if this thing was moving on a downward trend on the daily and we were looking to buy a call or go long on it, just buying some shares, and you picked up some shares or call off like one of these supports, it looks super strong, you got in there, it's making money, you don't want to hold that for very long because the daily chart is still trending downward, so you're still overall going to be swimming against the current. So to have an idea of what direction that stock is currently going on the daily chart can kind of tell you like how long should I hold this for a day, should I hold it for 2, should I hold it for 3, or should I get the hell out of it now because right now I'm going against the trend. Like I said, there's still plenty of opportunities to play against the trend, but it's not going to be I would say ever as profitable as if you play with the trend and kind of ride the same school bus as everybody else. That's just my opinion, I guess, but but of course there's always some plays to be made inside against the trend. Like we can play a little downtrend and you can kind of scalp the pullbacks as it kind of resets everything on its way down, but a lot of times you're going to get ate alive on them. Anybody else have any questions? Crickets.
Can you look at AMD real quick?
AMD. On like the 5-minute, or what do you want to look at it on?
Yeah, 5-minute intraday.
Okay.
It might be on a trend because of they're joined with
So you think they might be moving up?
could possibly be. I know they announced with the coming software and all that stuff.
Oh, you know what? I think I seen somebody had came in here and drew this out right here. They're like, oh man, cup and handle. I mean, it's an oddly shaped cup, but hey, whatever you want to drink your coffee out of. So let's see. Let me get off that little drawing tool there. So I can see like it might want to go up because like if I kind of put a line, just spitball it right there. It broke both of them, whichever one you kind of want to go off of, and it also might be coming back to test it just based off of those 2 red candles right here, so it might come back down to kind of test, see if this thing wants to come back up, but without looking at the daily, you kind of Let's look at the daily. So the daily chart, I mean, it's great. I mean, overall the thing's trending up. So, like, if you're buying shares, I would, how it is right now, I'd feel comfortable holding on to them. If you're playing, but most people are probably playing options on AMD, so that would be just trading some trends. Like right now, I can see right here, there's a little trend right there, a little resistance and support, and then maybe something right in there, something right in there probably, and something right in there. So if we go back to like the 5 minute, we can see if maybe we can see anything better. So yeah, so we got some support down here, resistance, finally broke through it. That's why you see that really good push, because it finally broke through it. This was, I don't even know, they must have had some good news or something there. But then it quickly came back down, tested that support, couldn't hang it both these times. They tried to get back above it again, so that's why it fell. So now it's trying to test that 93.06 resistance again. So being that it's so close, it's 93.06. That's a $93 resistance. It's a whole number. That's where everybody's looking at. So if you ever see something like 93.06 and it's so close to a whole dollar, or maybe like 93.50, it's close to 93.50, just go ahead and kind of adjust your line if you want to, and that'll be where everybody else's line is. But yeah, I mean, I would, we're on the 5 minute again. I would almost, let me see where the RSI is on that. Yeah, the RSI is, I mean, it's high. So being that the RSI is high and it just bounced that resistance, I would assume that thing on Monday is going to come down until it finds a support somewhere else. And you can kind of see one right in here. So right here we see some resistance, and right here we see a good support that it picked up off of. It fell down all this way, and that's the support that it found. See, we're at 91.91, so we can go ahead and assume that that's a $92 resistance. So I would watch for that thing to come back down to $92. Maybe 91 where we have it, but around $92 is where I'd look for it to come down, and that's where I'd, like, if I was going to go long on it, that's where I'd go long on it. I would wait for that long signal to pop up with vision at that support line that we have there, because it was strong enough to hold this big massive drop off right here, so it must be pretty strong. And you can see right here that they tried to bust through this resistance many times, and that could be the reason why it shot up right here. Enough people bought it up in the morning on the open and shot it right through them. So I would assume that 91 level, that $92 level is very strong. So that's where I would look to like watch for a long signal basically. So if we go back, we turn on vision, let me kind of adjust it since this is AMD, we'll go moderate, and then we'll flip it back on. And you can see our long signal right off that support. You see our short signal kind of right off of that where it got resisted that second time. So it's, I mean, I feel like, I mean, you got to have these in here. Got to have these lines in here. Again, don't draw too many of them because you'll just confuse yourself, but you got to have those lines in there. I mean, you can, like, you seen, I went to the daily chart, I went to the 4 hour, whatever I started on the AMD, I think the daily, and then I think I just skipped straight to the 5 and grabbed one more line in here. But, like, you do that, so, I mean, people tell me all the time I'm really fast at it, but I feel like they're really easy to spot. But the more you do it, the faster you'll get at it, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about being super fast at it. But, like, if you plan to trade AMD tomorrow, so say tomorrow it's Monday, the market opens, you plan to trade AMD, come in here, spend 5 minutes, throw some lines on here where you see where it should be getting resisted and supported, and then, boom, in the morning you're already one step ahead of the game. So it's, I mean, you got to have these lines in here. It's like telling the future. You watch it on Monday and tell me if I'm right or wrong. But it's either going to get supported right here at 92 and take back off up here towards this 93, maybe break it, but who knows. Or it's going to come back down here to this 90. It's going to come down to one of these two levels. And if you see this thing come down to here and start to dip below it, you know exactly where it's probably going to go next. Right here. So like if you see it break that, it's probably going to come down, come back, test it, and then if it keeps going, it's going to get swatted back down to that $90 level right there where that green line is right here. That's where it's going to go. Just like it did right here. It came down, it tested this support, picked back up off of it to see if it would hold it, and then it fell back. And that's why it continued to go down. You gotta have these lines. Gotta have them. If you're not trading with them, I mean, I feel like not even Vision's gonna help you. I mean, you gotta have these lines. You can't throw money at it and hope that you're gonna win the Powerball. Tell him, Farouk. Absolutely. Yep. I mean, because you can see right here in the middle, there's some short and long signals right here, and some people are sometimes like, oh, well, it kind of it said short and I got a put, but it immediately said long. Well, Vision can't tell the future any more than us, but we're not looking at those. You can go right there. Yeah.
Personally, I would have bought that last long and probably sold at that resistance and leave like 1 or 2 calls to run up.
Yeah, you can put one right here as well. I mean, you can see it get resisted right here, smacked back down until it found a good support. You can see it got support right here, came back up. I mean, you can tell the future. That's the whole point of it. Is okay, once we see it finding support right there, oh look, Vision gave us a long signal as well. The RSI is pretty low. Now we're going to go long. You can ride it right there to that 13 level. That's up to you. I mean, 89.48 to $90.13 doesn't sound like a whole lot. AMD, most people are trading contracts on them. So if you bought contracts and you got, how much is that? I mean, 70 cents, 80 cents maybe. 80 cents is a lot of profit, and it only it only goes up. That's big. That's real big. Especially the more contracts you buy, the more money you make. I mean, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but that is a very, very profitable move. And so, like, when you see it start to break through right here, if you held to that, congrats. You got stronger hands than me, but, I mean, you know exactly where it's going. You could tell the future. I mean, you know where it's going. So you know... Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you know when to sell. Like I said, that it doesn't seem like a big move, but you see, okay, well, there's that clear resistance that we've been seeing. We had that 90-13 level drawn in from the daily chart, and the daily resistances and supports are going to be the stronger ones. And if you can get some lines off of the weekly, go ahead and grab a couple, and they're going to be even stronger than the daily. But you know where to sell it. You see a bunch of people in Facebook groups and everything all the time, like, hey, when should we sell this? Well, if you had lines on your chart, you should know when to sell it. It tells you when to buy it, when to sell it. Vision confirms it. That's what you get Vision for. That's why Vision is so powerful, because when you start drawing this stuff on your lines or on your chart, you see exactly where to sell it, where to buy it. I mean, you shouldn't be losing. That's all there is to it. Unless you held too long, or you just kind of YOLO'd it. And sometimes I YOLO it too, so don't feel bad if you do. But there's, with Vision confirming everything for you, like you got these lines on here, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to look to buy some calls right here. Whether it's going to find a support right here, or whether it came down and found a support right here. You're saying to yourself, well, I'm going to look to get some calls right there once it finds that support and turns around, because the RSI is already getting pretty low. So the RSI can't get too much lower. I mean, it can go down a little bit, but it's not going to get too much lower there before it at least has some type of pullback. And so you can play that little pullback. You can play the whole run if you want to. But you can see, you can go in here. You can see there's a little bit of resistance on that doji candle right there. and then it supported it right here. So there, I mean, you can play that next move. You know, I mean, it's just like that. But I would have got out right there at that first zone of resistance right there.
It was testing it. You didn't see those voltages.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Testing it before it broke it.
Yeah, tested it right there, and then it tested that same area right there, and that's why I put a line there. Now you don't have to have all these lines. You can play straight off just the daily lines, and then maybe one or two added in from the 5 minute, and you're good to go. I mean, you don't have to have a bunch of lines on there. What's up? Yeah. The flag is only there for the long position that was most current. So like, let me get rid of this little dot because that bothers me. So that flag is there. You're talking about the yellow flag, right? Okay, so I think you're overthinking it a little bit. The flag is just there saying if you got in this long signal right here and you're not out yet, you need to get the hell out. It's like it's an extra caution deal, you know. Oh yeah, no problem. Although we've been getting that question so many times here recently. That flag is also gone in the new update. I mean, you can always come back to the Classic Vision because Classic Vision is going to be there for everybody that wants it. But if you guys haven't seen that new update, Josh posted some little teasers in the public announcements page in the public channel there. It's got little take profit indicators on there now where it'll tell you to take profit, you know, because if it comes up, if you know you don't have lines on here, but you can see that it's getting a little resistance somewhere. Vision most likely to tell you to take profit. It won't tell you to sell yet, but it'll tell you, hey, you might want to take a little bit off the table. And it'll tell you also when to hold. And it'll tell you also the same thing for the short side too. So if you go short on something, it'll tell you when to take profit and hold and sell and everything on that side too. So the flag will be gone, but there's some other stuff that we put in its place, kind of. But yeah, it's you gotta have these lines, guys. Gotta have them. You know, like that's why I'm not a big fan of Robinhood. Robinhood doesn't let you do it. Last time I checked, anyway. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean, man. I mean, they just lack. You know, I mean, Robinhood's good. I mean, you can buy, sell, and all that stuff in there, but for doing it the way you should, for doing it the right way, and throwing some lines in there on Webull, you can just go right in there, grab the line, and start throwing them in there. You can do it on the TradingView app as well if you got Vision in your hand, you know, in your phone. Like I personally, I trade off of Webull on my phone. I sit here in front of the computer. I put me some lines on there. I just watch it. I watch it and then execute it on my phone. I got the Webull app on my computer too, but it's just easier to do on my phone, so I just do it there. But I mean, the mobile users don't think you can't do it either. I mean, it's the same thing. You know, just with Robinhood, you can't even scroll back. You can't even go back on the chart. Robinhood only shows you what they want to show you for today. They just expect you to buy up stuff, I guess. Yeah, I think so. I haven't used them in so long I can't even remember. I mean, it's good for buying stuff and selling stuff still, but personally, I like Webull better. I mean, it's just Webull. I got more options. It seems like. Robinhood is very, very pretty and easy to use though. So I mean, you can still execute all these trades on Robinhood. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can come in here and see this stuff on the chart right here, and then buy and sell them on Robinhood. But I like Webull.
Not as privileged as you guys in Canada.
Canada got the interactive broker that everybody always compliments.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign up for Interact broker there.
Yeah, I think they charge a little bit of fees though, don't they? Oh,
Bucks a month.
oh okay. I don't think Canada
What about
has
bulk
anything.
trade? Have you guys heard of bulk trade before?
Nope, haven't heard of them. Oh, I think somebody just said yeah.
Yeah, I got a talking to one of the managers there. I'm gonna stick with Interact though.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Everybody likes interactive up there. We got a lot of Canadian traders in here too, so you guys holler at them. I mean, they're really helpful.
Yeah, they're well nice people in the world.
Dylan, would you pull up Jaguar Health on the swing?
Oh, that's JagX, ain't it?
Yes.
Oh. Let me ooh, we got some honest dots. Alright, that's a good sign. I think Dan has some of this. I don't know if Dan can hear us or not, but I see him down there.
It has been a good swing so far.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, it almost looks like there's a bull flag on it too. So, I mean, if you're holding it, I mean, I might hold on a little longer. If anybody can't see that, that's a nice little up move, pull, and then a little whoop. Looks like Plug did as soon as I put that in the watch list too. Yeah, it looks.
Plug's been amazing.
Yeah, it has.
Oh, blue flag. These are about to move a big side and not fall back.
Yeah, it looks like it might.
So, Dylan, let me ask you. So, you know I told you about the put.
Sorry, you broke up there. What'd you say, Bruce?
No, I was talking about surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they had a public offering in consistency. They had passed over $5, and they look to be on a pretty good upward trend by the 4 hour.
Let me go to him real quick. Yeah.
My thing is, I'm wondering, I'm maintaining my calls right now. Do I sell them on a sexy 8 hour trend and buy back in when they fall?
Let me let me look a little further. See how long they've been around.
There's an investment company,
It's gonna be a little hard to break right there. I mean, it's got some strong resistance to go through.
so they bought 46.3 million shares of it, like over the last like 8 months.
How many shares?
46.3 million.
Oh, okay.
Or sorry, more than that actually. Hold up a minute. Hold up real quick. They currently own 5%. Yeah, it's 42 million. There you go.
Yeah.
5% of their portfolio, and they bought most of it during the last like month. They bought 12.91.
Let's see. I mean, that sounds good, but just seeing the RSI on all the daily, the weekly, the 4 hour, and then you got that main resistance in there. So like you can see, I got a line there, but it's kind of hidden. Let me get rid of the price line, and then we'll get rid of. I've got the bid ask lines because of forex. So you can see that it's getting this resistance right here. right at 350 basically, which is a whole number, of course. You got a bunch of that same resistance. You can see it's really strong. So if we go back to the daily, we can see it's very strong resistance because it's on the daily. And then you can even go back to the weekly. You can see it's kind of there a little bit right here, right there. So I mean, there's always potential that it can continue to go up. But in your calls right now, personally, I would hawk them, because just based off of what it looks like right now, it's going to come back down to find another support. If I had to guess, it'd be right in here somewhere, probably around the 3.25 mark. It'll try first, and like just based off how many shares you said they bought and everything, I would look to go back long in it, with the expiration a couple days out. But for me personally, I'd take the profit on them now, wait for it to come back, get some more once it confirms. Oh, okay.
The paid out super low, everything's super low, super low. Not super worried about it taking the super downward trend. Especially since they have so much coming out in the next like a couple months.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's personal preference, I think. Like I said, me personally, I'd take the money on it myself right now. I'd wait for it to come back down, probably find some support at that 325 area, and then continue to go up. Try to hit it again, and most likely, with how much everybody has been buying, like you said, it'd probably start to break out of that. Probably go towards $4 then. Yeah, I mean, maybe take your profit, and leave the rest, like leave your initial in there, and then maybe buy some more up if it does come down, and find some support back around one of these areas. Add to it, but at least you take the profit off the table. Your initial's still in there. It's kind of like I said, it's personal preference. It's all up to how you feel about it. But I mean, to me, the RSI is high. It needs to reset regardless on how much they're buying. So, I mean, you can see just how steep that thing is right there. And then, I mean, with the RSI is crazy high there. Let me flip that over so we can see how high it is right there. It's at 80.27. So it needs a little pullback to reset that. Seeing that thing probably going to 90 is probably not going to happen on the RSI scale. So it needs a little pullback. And from what I see, it looks like it's going to try to pull back. I mean, around the 325 area is where I would guess, but you might be able to find another little area it might come back to, but to reset that at maybe 340, 339. But I would say it's going to come down a little lower than that because it's just kind of like with the Forex deal. It needs to reset that thing so it can make another push upward, because in my mind, it's just like it can't keep going higher with the RSI so high. It needs to reset it. It won't come probably all the way down. I mean, depending on how much it resets it just from a 25-cent move, but it needs to come back so it can push it back over the top again. Let me know on Monday because I'm curious now. But yeah, with how much they're buying of it, like you said, I mean, they're not going to buy junk, especially millions of shares. Bruce makes some money on them now. I'm telling you.
And I'm just wondering because a lot of people play penny stock options and they do not know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's just again.
It's good what you're doing, but the volatility on penny stock can kill you in like a second.
Yeah, you never want to play options on top gainers. That's for damn sure. Like Cirque is a big name. If you've been listening to scanners and stuff for a while, Cirque is always on there. It is always on scanners. So it's a big name. So like you said, institutions and hedge funds and stuff, if they're buying that many shares, they're not buying it, because it's shit. I mean, yeah, right. I mean, they've got some indication. Yeah, I mean, like hedge funds and institutions, man, they get a lot more kind of insider information, I feel like, than we do. So like arc on that tack, I don't think that they just seen that good support and they just seen that head and shoulders forming. I think that they have some other news coming out or something that they've already heard about, and that's why they bought so much of it. So like again, hedge funds and stuff, they're not buying junk. I mean, there's a reason they're putting that much money into something. Yeah, I mean, but again, Cirque is it's a big name. Like if we go to the daily, you can see it constantly. This is like one of the reasons I like SRNE. SRNE constantly comes down and it constantly shoots right back up, just like this Cirque is doing. You see it come down and it shoots right back up. I mean, even if you don't get on one of these super massive spikes to 750, like a dollar or two move on this stuff is big. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. It's like SRNE, man. I wish I would have held it. SRNE, it moved 1 penny and I was up big time on that thing. Yeah, we had some calls on it, but I got weak hands and got out of it. And like literally as soon as I think all of us got out of it, it ran to $10, and it was at like 740. Yeah, man, it sucked. That's why on Apple, even though like on Monday or Tuesday it was super red, like I was down like $1,000 on it. I was like, fuck it. I mean, I seen what SRNE did because I got out of it too early. I'm not getting out of this thing. I mean, this Apple should be, Apple. I looked at it, the trend, and I'm like, this thing, like, there's no reason this thing should not follow this trend right now. So, and it sure did. It ended up paying off, and we were right. So, next time when I do a move like SRNE, I'm just holding it. I'm gonna hold that thing till expiration, and it expires worthless because. I mean, the more you chart this stuff, the more confident in the predictions you are in yourself. So, yeah, like it's up to you, Bruce. I think it's gonna come back with a little pullback on it.
Everything that's shooting like that, it needs to find it. It needs to break.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that guy said, and it's at one day, all these things got to break, so it needs to come down.
yeah. I mean, it might make a move like this right here. You see where it kind of broke through up here and then tested it. It might make that move, but honestly, I think that daily candle right there is very large, and I don't think we're gonna see another very large one come follow it. Not yet. I think, like I said, I think it's gonna whoop and then push up another good push, and then start to break higher and higher. Yeah. How cheap are those options, Bruce? Oh, nice. Nice. 4,000. Oh, Farouk.
What do you say?
he always comes full tilt.
Farouk, I love your energy. Tell him I said I love his energy.
Callie said she loves your energy. he always brings the party. You can never leave, Farouk. You gotta stay here, man.
He ain't going nowhere.
Hell yeah. As long as you're doing what you should be doing, charting your stuff, man, there should be no reason anybody's losing. You ready now, huh? Bruce is always getting into some good ones, man.
Is Steve on there right now?
Yeah, the insider trading tab is good, dude. On FinViz, I love that tab. And you gotta, you need to go do some homework on it too. Don't just go in there buying it.
Even if you're gonna buy it, even if you see some video, then somebody puts a video and you want to get it, please do not chase it. Just wait. It's always gonna consider wait. It has to come down. Because that is not when somebody makes a call out, it's never a natural. It's never a natural move. The stock is not moving natural. It's not healthy for the stock. So it has to come back down for its trend.
Yep. It's gotta come back and test the support somewhere. It's got to, like I said, in my mind, when I look at RSI, it's like, for me, it's got to reset that RSI before it can make another push up to 80 again. So like right here, you see it came up right here to 77. It's got to pull back on this RSI. It's got to reset it at least a little bit before it can make another push up towards that 70-80 zone. It doesn't mean it's going to downtrend. Yeah. Yeah, that's personally what I would do, but I don't want to. No advice. No advice. I don't. No advice. But that's personally what I would do. I think that's the best move. Because now if you see it, Bruce, if you see it, most likely too on the open on Monday, a lot of stuff likes to give a really nice push. On Monday, on just open in general, market open in general, any day. A lot of stuff, if it's trending upwards, you'll see a nice healthy push right off the open, and then maybe 5-10 minutes later it's going to start to move downward. But that, because like on Neo, that's where I typically sold my calls. If I held on to them until next day on Neo, I waited. I'm like, okay, well, I know what open's going to do. Open, everybody's going to try to push it, and that's where I'll sell them, because on just the first 5 minutes of open, man, your profit can soar. So I would watch it Monday before you make your decision. If it starts to look like it might pull back on you, then you can kind of be like, okay, well, it's going to come back, find a support somewhere. I'll get in again there, and then you pumping it? We got a pumper. Yeah, if it wants to keep pushing, sure, hold on to it, but I don't think it's going to stop. I don't think it's going to start to turn around completely, just by how much they're buying it up. But I think you could take your profit and then come back, the next day and. I wonder, did they get a good earnings report right here? No. It was down, and it went up. Nice. Yeah, the offerings are bad temporarily for, like, if you're day trading it that day and you get an offering, it's going to tear you up, sure, but overall they're good because that company is taking that money out of the stock and they're putting it towards more projects or more, more like if they're a pharmaceutical company, they're putting it towards more vaccines or whatever the hell they're making. But temporarily, yeah, they're shitty, but. Ethereum? No. Hell yeah, you need to.
weekend, the volume is so low. We can spike and go down so fast.
Well, I'm s- Hell yeah.
the bug that helps you use in the election. But someone, not an idiot, Wales funded a story where they said that they found double spending on blockchain, which is illegal in 2020. So they're saying that basically that's what that funding is
Hmm.
used for. But it's illegal. It's impossible, right? So what they did is they did two transactions, and the first block got verified. And they're like, see, it's like you have to wait till the third block.
So it was a short campaign, just like they did on IDX and SRNE and the many others. But yeah,
What do you think?
what'd you say, Farouk?